What's up, everybody? Welcome to Are You Down with LPT, the podcast where agents like you share their stories, experiences, and insights to help each other level up and thrive. In every episode, we're diving deep into the real-life challenges, wins, and lessons from the front lines. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, this is the place to connect, learn, and grow together. So, if you're ready to get down with LPT and take your game to the next level, let's jump in. We are back with Are You Down with LPT, and we are with Jessica Schaffer. Jessica, how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, it's great to chat. You got quite a bit going on. I know you're selling a lot of real estate, got a lot of listings right now, and chat about that later. But
yes.
You said, I think it was last week, you said it's starting to pick up for you
Yeah.
a little bit, which is exciting.
Yes.
It's that time of year. I
Yeah.
think fall always brings good real estate. But so let's get to know you just a little bit before we jump in here. But a few questions. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Do you put anything in the coffee?
I do, less than I used to, but
Yeah.
I do. I'll do like half and half or like a oat milk or something, and then like not super sweet, just maybe like a pump of vanilla or something, pretty basic.
Well,
but
you know, I think a lot of people start this way, but it started with like Casey's latte,
like a
super sugary
cappuccino.
Yeah. And I started there. Now it's like I put just a little bit of cream in the
Yeah.
morning. So I don't know if I'll ever get to just straight black coffee, but you know, I
Yeah,
don't know if that's when you've arrived, if
I
you're
think so.
adulthood, truly.
I would love to be able to just do black coffee.
Yeah.
I've tried, and it's just so,
Yeah, I can't
do it yet.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
But I love it. First job.
First job, Hy-Vee, sacking groceries. I think like a lot of people.
Which IV?
In Perry.
Oh, in Perry. Is that where you grew up, in Perry?
No, I grew up in Woodward.
Oh,
so
well,
Woodward
pretty much the
Granger.
same thing.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
close.
Yeah,
So it was the
I'm just
closest
kidding.
place to find a job, I suppose.
Yeah, that was me. I started at Perry. I started at Hy-Vee, and did basically you separate. I was the can and bottle boy. I was the
okay.
bottle boy. That's what I
Okay,
was.
yeah.
So my job was to separate. Back then, you had to separate. Like, okay, here's Mid-America or whatever it was called with Dr. Pepper and A&W, and then you had Pepsi and Coke, and I'd sit back there and separate those. And then if somebody spilled something, they'd call me to go clean it up, and it was a
Nice.
wonderful job. Would
Yeah.
you bag check or?
I started out like bagging and then ended up in the customer service area.
Yeah.
Cashing people's checks, doing
Yes.
like money orders and all that good stuff.
Yeah. My that bottle boy, I would be behind those people there, and so they would just kind of boss me around all day.
They kept you
People
under
like
wraps.
you, yes,
Yeah.
Favorite book?
Oh gosh, that's a hard one. I read a lot of like, I wouldn't say self-help, but stuff like, what is that one about friends, how to make friends and
Oh yeah, influence people. Yeah.
I try to read a lot of books like that. Not read. I guess I typically do audiobooks because I am in the car
much easier
so
in
much.
our line of work for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. That's one of them, I would say.
Yeah.
I do watch movies. I would say my favorite movie, though, is like really cheesy, but it's The Notebook. I can't not watch that movie.
That's less
It's
motivational.
less
and more-
motivational, but I love that. I love that movie.
That's a book too, right? Isn't The Notebook a book?
Probably.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it
I
is.
guess I have no idea. I've not seen the movie, and if there was a book, I never read the book
probably
either.
wouldn't
But
read it. Yeah.
my wife and daughter both love that movie as well.
Oh, it's so good.
Does Alyssa love it as well? Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Everybody loves The
Yeah.
Notebook.
It's great.
Okay, well, let's jump in and dive into your real estate business a little bit.
Okay.
What drew you to real estate?
Well, I'll try to keep it short. It was kind of something I didn't really intend on doing, but I've always loved homes. I've always Sunday mornings with coffee, I would just look at all the listings. I would
In the
look at,
newspaper?
In the
or-
newspaper.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah,
years
back when we
ago.
did that.
In the newspaper on Sundays, I would just drink my coffee and look at all the houses and just like, what are the price points for them and how did that differentiate from town to town? And I've always just loved the design of homes as well. But how I actually got into it, my husband and I were flipping homes,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
in small towns.
Perry.
No, not Perry. You just love that. You love doing that, don't you? No, Madrid mostly. So
Okay, yeah.
it was like 2008, 9, 10 when you could get a house for like 19,000. I
Yeah.
think we bought one for 19,000, 8,000, 16,000. Another one was 60,000. We found our highest one was an Elkhart, which was like 60,000. But so yeah, we would flip these houses, and you get what you pay for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but we had little kids. They would come in, and so we'd put them to work, we had
Family
like
business.
dumpster out there, and they were the dumpster kids and had
Yeah.
to throw stuff away. And I ended up just like always picking out everything for the homes, and then there's small town realtors that you're working with, and there was some frustration dealing with that, like as far as like double siding stuff and us missing out on buying certain properties, and so. I was told, let's just get you should get your license. Let's see how this goes. So I was probably at home with my kids at that time, and stayed at home with them for about 14 years. I was dragging my feet on getting into real estate. So I was like, what do I know? I know kids. I've known raising kids for the last several years. And then I just dug into it, started doing like the online, classes and stuff. And then I was like, okay, now... you learn what you learn, but that is nothing compared to what you actually have to know when you actually start in the business and working it and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it. And then kind of went on from there, took more and more classes as I got my license for different things, new construction classes and things. And so, that's how I got here.
So those early days, obviously you got kids, you're at home, any other challenges as you start in real estate? Yeah, that's always the trickiest time. You see people who make it in real estate, it's about getting past year 2 or so and getting into year 3. Mm-hmm. And I think once you get to that, you feel like, okay, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
But those first couple of years are tricky. Do you have challenges or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the questions to ask, how can you learn,
Yeah.
So I just honestly went into the office, tried to go into the office as much as I possibly could. So my 4th kid was going into kindergarten right as I got my license.
Yeah,
So I would
made it a
have,
little easier. Yeah.
I could actually go in the office, and I had an agent next to me who sold quite a bit of real estate and was on the phone constantly, different scenarios happening, and I would just sit there and spy on her. Yes, and I would just be like, okay, what is she doing?
Yeah.
And then I'd go and I'd look on her Facebook posts and different social media accounts and being like, what is she posting? So I was basically just trying to emulate what she was doing, and just showed up and just tried to soak in as much as I could. You cannot feel like you know everything in this business because every deal is different. Everybody's financial position is different. Every home's different. So you just got to be open to learn too.
I think what you said there, just being present, is huge. I look at, we're in Clive here, and think of some of the new agents have seen a lot of success in our Clive office as new agents, and they're here. And they're here every time I walk in the building, they're here, and they're around some of the seasoned agents. And like you just said, just listening, taking it in, and learning, I think is one of the most important things a newer agent can do, is just soak it in.
Yeah.
And you were talking about taking classes, and so do you like learning?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like learning new things all the time.
And so you were taking a new construction, you took some other classes, any other certifications or
anything that that I could take, I would take.
Yeah.
I did the ninja class. I don't know if you know what that is, but I'm sure you do. I did that. There was several new construction classes. There was a series of them at the brokerage I used to be at, and I took all of those. I let them know that when I started, new construction was something I wanted to do and was interested in. So I took as many classes as I could, and that kind of showed that I was serious. So kind of got into that for a while with a builder, and it was great.
We talk about that as we get here, but Iowa Realty was a major player in new construction for a long time.
Yes.
And they still do new construction, but they were like
yes.
Probably when you started, I don't know what percent of builders were there, but a lot of the big ones and most of the big ones. So obviously that was a great place to learn new construction. They taught it. So take us into that, your new construction experience. I know you worked with Hubble for a long time. What did that look like?
I was comfortable in new construction because my spouse was he was a framer and trim carpenter and had
okay.
built a couple
Yep.
houses
Yep.
for friends and family and things. So I would hear the shop talk all the time, about, the different phases, the foundation phase, rough and all that.
Yep.
So I felt like I had a good base to go off of for that. But yeah, 2015 was when I got my license. I took classes for like a whole year. And then 2016, I believe, was when I started representing Hubble in Ankeny in Prairie Trail. They were selling it as Prairie Trail at the time, but it was
feel like Prairie Trail,
hard
it
to
does.
get.
Today it does.
Now it does.
Yeah,
Yes,
but it was kind of
early
out there
days.
at the time.
Yeah, it did not feel like it, and just trying to get people to believe that. But we did very well. They give you some steep goals. I think every year we'd have like, you need to sell 12 of these townhomes. The next year is like, you need to sell 14, and then you hit those goals, and it's like, they're not,
it keeps going up.
There's a hole in the ground over there. You haven't sold that one.
Yeah.
But it was probably one of the best things I could have done because you had to be so disciplined. There were marketing spreadsheets we had to, show. There were, comp spreadsheets we had to turn in. There's meetings all the time. It made me you treat my business like a real business early on.
Yeah, that's good.
Where I think it'd be hard to be that disciplined when you're not having so many expectations put on you. But yeah, I wouldn't change that. It was, an interesting experience. I learned a lot, but no, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah. I'm sure you learned a lot. We just talked a second ago about being in the office, being present, but that really probably kickstarted your business, I would think. And you have to be at meetings, and you have to do marketing, and you have to do all these things.
Yeah.
And you have a choice, right?
Right. You have to do networking. For a while there, like, you have to belong to one chamber. You have to attend so many networking events. You need to, how many people did you talk to about this, development? And
you guys did all the townhomes there, right? Because there were single family and townhomes.
Yes, we did. Excuse me. We did the townhomes. Those at the time were much easier to sell than the single family homes out there.
Yeah.
They wanted us to do both, but how do I say this? It was just much easier to stay on longer with that builder with the townhomes.
Yeah,
They were harder sell.
Yeah, you said it earlier, but they were just kind of out there, and it didn't feel like Prairie Trail. And today, those are the only lots left in Prairie Trail. And there's not. I think they've sold all the lots or are building houses on it. So here we are 10 years later, and
they're connected now. Like it was really hard selling those first ones that were right out on Highway 69. Being like, this is Prairie Trail.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's not.
Enjoy the walkable lifestyle.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah. It's grown up quite a bit, and Prairie Trail's pretty much all filled in now.
Yeah.
So you did that 2015 for how long did you do that?
I did that for 5 years.
Yeah, for a long time.
I did that right before they turned to that sales representative model.
Okay.
I heard it was coming, and it was coming, and I actually I love being able to say that I quit and wasn't fired.
Yeah.
So,
that's always,
because, a lot of really good agents do get fired for
Oh, that's it's true in new construction that, it's very rare if agents stay with a builder for a very long time.
Right.
And it's just rare in this business.
Yeah.
And so it's, whether you get fired or quit, I think it's a testament to you that you were there 5 years and you had a lot of success there for 5 years.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. A lot of double weekends for open houses and different things.
Yeah, the same thing getting in, like, when we talk to new agents, do open houses, show up at the office, go to meetings, like, that's how you learn. And, Hubble kind of forced you to do all those things.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I didn't really have to figure out how to be, what kind of agent to be. They're like, you will be this way, or you won't have a job. But it was good. It was good for a young agent to. Yeah,
and honestly, a lot of what they want you to do is, it's good. It's obviously it works, and there's a reason they push you that way. And so you did that 2020, and then COVID hits, and what was business like for you during COVID?
It was good.
Yeah.
So I was kind of scared, and that Hubble was a lot of my business. It was probably 90% of my business because you got to focus on that so much. Your resale business just kind of you have people, but you're not really working them. You're not working your sphere very much at all, and so they kind of fell through the cracks a little bit. I was done with Hubble, and then I was like, okay, my goal was to completely replace that income that I had. And I think we had like $4-5 million in sales for a couple, yearly or so. I didn't completely replace it, but the next year with no business, I think I did 3.5.
Yeah.
But I was still proud of that.
Absolutely.
Because I was like, I don't know what kind of money I'm going to make, if I'm going to have any business whatsoever. So I just really dug in. I was writing letters, writing letters to my sphere, looking up all their birthdays, got that off of Facebook on an Excel spreadsheet and just looked at that every day, wrote happy birthday letters,
awesome.
texted them. I would do like coffee giveaways, just send them random coffee, just really try to connect with them again. And then really worked on posting a lot. Because there's still people that are like, oh, I forgot you were an agent.
Yeah, it's
like,
amazing,
oh my
isn't it?
gosh.
I'll get you
I feel like I'm posting all the time, but in the grand scheme of things, like, you're not posting near as much as what you think. But
Well, there's a lot of good stuff there. We talk about 5 spokes. It's something we bring up, that you have these different avenues in which we're generating leads. And like a lot of people that work with builders, it becomes a lot of their business and a lot of their focus and their time and their energy, and other areas get neglected. It's just what happens, because a builder wants your attention and expects it, and rightfully so, and that makes sense. But I think it brings me back to the importance of, I need a diversified business, and your SOI you just mentioned, that should always be my number one spoke, my number one investment in my time, my energy, and resource. I love some of the things you were talking about with birthdays and all that. That was amazing. Then I got to build out those other spokes, because if I just have one spoke, which is where you are, it makes it difficult to replace that when we lose it.
And no one can take your sphere away from you.
That's right.
They just need to pull it away. Those are your people, and that's a good feeling to have too. So I love that. I loved the time and effort, and I know you still put a lot into that. And obviously, we always should do that in real estate. So great to hear that. You have added some other avenues to your business, with the staging, and we wanted to jump into that because I think it's really cool what you're doing. Hearing your story back in 2015, when you have an eye for it. Obviously, you were doing it then, and here it's become even another little side hustle. So tell us the story of how that idea of staging came about. Okay, well, I would always just stage my listings as I got into the business, and not so much like with furniture, but I really enjoy listing homes. I mean, of course I like, buyers too, but I really, really like listing. So I just do it in a way where I will meet the sellers, and I'll go in, and I really like to have that first meeting where they are understanding not only what I think is best, but what buyers really, really want. And I let them know, like, hey, my house is not show ready every day, and that they need to have their house show ready the whole time that they're on the market, or at least try to. And just like really scaling down everything, because people don't want to see other people's things when they go into a house. But just setting that step one. And then, if they just want to box everything up, I would come in and say, okay, I'll bring in some soaps, I'll bring in some hand towels, I'll bring in a few green plants. If you want to put all your pillows and blankets away, I'll bring totes of that stuff, and just get it to where I know that when buyers are online scrolling through pictures on the internet, that they're going to look at it and be like, okay, I like that. I like how it's clean and simple. I know what's going to photograph well. It just gave me more control of my listings and what I was putting out there to the public, and a sense of pride too. Like, I don't want to list this house that looks crazy, and be like, oh, that's kind of great listing. Just like, it makes people feel like you don't have kind of control over your job, your business, and your clients and different things. Not that I'm trying to control my clients, but I'm truly just trying to get the highest dollar for them, for their house.
Staging is such a huge part of that. You hit the nail on the head when you talk about online, and that's your first showing, and people looking on Zillow or whatever site, they need to be drawn. They need a reason to say, well, I want to go look at this house.
And you don't get there, and if they don't like it there, they're not getting in the door. They're not scheduling the showing. So it has to look good at the very first look. So
that's the first impression for sure.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah. So you started
with accessories.
Yeah.
Just and then I started talking to some of my friends that were in real estate as well, and being like, I feel like, what they say, like, if your friends and family, what questions do they ask you for suggestions? What do they ask you for advice on? That's the kind of thing you should be getting into. So my friends and family are always like, oh, I want you to come over and like look at my living room or family room and tell me how I should redesign it, or my bedroom or whatever. And I've always gotten that because I've always loved it. And so I'm like, I love it. It energizes me. Like, even if I'm, staging a bunch and carrying stuff in and out, like, I never feel tired after the day. I feel more energized. So that's something I was like, okay, there's something here. I'm going to look into it a little bit more. Had a friend who had like $1 million listing and was like, I need this staged in 2 days. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. Well, I just jumped right in and did it. And I was like, this is awesome. I loved it. And then, she started talking to other people. I started talking about it more. When you talk about things and put it out there, it kind of snowballs. And was doing accessories for like a year or so. And then I started getting more calls from people being like, what, you don't do furniture? What do you mean you don't do furniture? And I'm like, well, maybe I should do furniture. Yeah. So I have a furniture contact, and I can stage anything now. So I've got an inventory built up, quite a bit of accessories, and so now I can get furniture. So I can do it all. So
beyond your clients, I can picture what it might look like. I'm going on a listing, and you're giving a consultation to your clients, and then accessories and maybe more for that. If it's not one of your clients and there's somebody looking for, hey, Jessica, you do consultation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do consultations, accessories, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll do consultations where, if a listing agent isn't wanting to be the bad guy.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
You got a house that's got a lot of stuff in it. It's clean.
Yep.
Let's say it's clean, but there a lot of stuff, and the owner's really proud of all their things.
I recommend it. Yeah. I mean, so for me, last 5 years, I've had somebody that does consultations, and that's not my forte. Mm-hmm. Like, to walk in a house. I mean, some things I know that are obvious, but I don't have an eye for that. Yeah. And I know it's important. And sometimes you walk in a house like, oh yeah, they're fine. They know what they're doing. And so I don't even bring it up. But there's plenty of times where hey, one of the things we want to do is want to bring in, a stager for a consultation. This isn't, they're not necessarily going to bring in furniture and accessories. They might, and we can talk about that at the time, but it's more like she will just walk through the house, spend an hour with them saying, hey, you should do this in this room, that in that room. Mm-hmm. And, just prepare the home to sell. Yeah. And like you said, I think it takes away from me being the bad guy when, like, well, you got shag carpet on the wall, or, it smells like cat pee or whatever. Like, I'll let you do that, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I'll be the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I just try to send the message, like, this isn't my taste. This isn't, this is going to be what a buyer wants to see when they're scrolling through the internet on the pictures, and when they're walking through. Maybe we need to rearrange the furniture to have like a pathway that's easier to navigate through the home. So, I'll change furniture around, and a room can look completely different. I'll take sometimes 70% of their decor down, or tell them to do it, just so it looks more, clean in those photos, and they can picture themselves living in the home as opposed to looking at all the stuff all the time.
It's easy for us to say, but it is truth, especially in a market where homes are sitting longer. I mean, this isn't COVID. And, then it's like, oh, I put a sign in the yard and it can look like crap, and somebody still might buy it because they don't have a lot of options.
Right.
But today you gotta set yourself apart.
Yes.
And staging is a huge way to do that. Like, if I'm talking to agents, which we are doing here, if they don't have that ability, and even if they do have that ability, like, to have a middleman kind of step in and say, hey, here's what you need to do. Here's some suggestions. I would highly recommend that.
Yeah.
So
think it's awesome. Any favorite success stories, before, after type stuff?
Well, we've done some things together, I think.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
I feel like the staging has really helped in a lot
I
of
can
ways.
talk about Linwood, and Linwood I had listed, and I had been trying to recruit you for a while, but Linwood we co-listed, and it was just kind of empty,
Yeah.
And you went in there and obviously staged it, and I think it was probably a week later. I don't know. It was pretty close to that. It'd been on the market like 100 days.
Yeah.
You came in and staged it, and it was more than a week. It wasn't much more than a week.
Yeah.
So certainly that, and you've staged other stuff, and there's nothing that didn't sell, right? So
Yeah, so far.
yeah.
I think like some people will say, staging is worth it. Some will say it's not, but I really think it is, because there are just some people, like you say, that can't visualize, how am I going to live in this house?
Yep.
These open floor plans that we have, some people are just like, the space is too big, and there's enough furniture for 2 different seating areas, different things. They don't know how they're going to live in it. Maybe it's the opposite. It seems too small, and they just can't wrap their head around it. You put furniture in there, and you show them this is how you will live in it. They're like, oh, okay, I got it.
Feels like home.
I'm going to consider this home now.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just you take that question out of the buyer's mind, and you show them the way. Like, this is how this house you can live in it, basically.
And the numbers support it. I mean, you look at the national numbers of homes staged versus not. There's definitely a return on investment that people get. I don't know numbers, but I've seen enough articles and reports on it. Both return on investment and days on the market go down. Mm-hmm. And those are kind of the 2 big things that sellers are looking for. How much can I get? Can I get more money? And how quick can we sell it?
Yeah.
And so staging is a huge part of that. So, as we wind down here, certainly want to connect you with our agents about the staging stuff. But real estate wise, what do you got going on these days?
I have kind of all over the place, but I've got 3 listings in Polk City.
Yep.
They're built in 2022. They're all ranches, great floor plans. Polk City is a really growing area.
Yeah.
I love Polk City.
Yeah.
So my kids go to school at North Polk.
Yep.
I've got a walkout ranch in Grimes on Sunset. It's beautiful. It was built in 2015, but it looks like it was built maybe a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
It's very nice, very well kept home. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, in a very cute neighborhood, cul-de-sac. I've got a 2-story in Perry. There, you're waiting for it.
Yeah.
2-story in Perry, 5 bedrooms, 2 bath, and then I've got a 3-plex in Madrid that would be a great investor property, and trying to get that one sold too.
Yeah, it's a wide variety. Listings have picked up. That's always a good place to be when you got listings and inventory. So congratulations on that. Any goal or vision that you see yourself in the next few years?
Real estate wise, I've always just trying to push the amount of units that I do every year. I just try to beat what I had the year before.
Yeah, that's right.
Always.
Yeah.
I had a pretty decent year last year, and would like to surpass that and just keep growing and growing every single year. I'm hoping that my staging business, helps that.
Yep.
And I'm happy where I'm at now. I think it was a really great move for me and my business, and just lots of opportunity here. So
well, we obviously love having you here, so appreciate that. If people want to connect with you, for me, as I look at our agents, I think you can be a great resource and hopefully help your business grow. But on the staging side, what's the best way? How can they connect with you?
They can connect me directly on Facebook. It's called the Style Collective.
Okay.
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, but any of the agents can pop in my office even, or I think a lot of them
they can find you.
So I'm around.
Yeah. Well, Jessica, we love having you here. Appreciate you spending time with us today, talking about both your real estate business and what you got going on in the staging world. That's amazing info. So.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Are You Down with LPT? Thank you so much for tuning in.
We hope you get some valuable takeaways to apply to your journey. New episodes drop every Friday, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss out. And hey, if you have your own story you'd like to share or questions you'd like to dive into, hit us up. Until next time, stay down with LPT and keep leveling up. Catch you in the next one.